everyone, my name is Chelsea and welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are talking about my Q1 Steam update. To do on this channel is introduce more things that are not just books. That was always my intention with this channel. I have life videos and like going on vacation and stuff with the kids, but I used to also talk about other things. And in the past, I've also done like live streams of games because gaming is one of the other like big passions that I have. And so one thing that I wanted to do, instead of doing like a monthly wrap up for games, because I don't play as many games as reading books in a month, I wanted to do like quarterly updates. So at least this way we're talking about the things that I'm playing and it's not just like at the end of the year as one whole wrap up. So we're going to be talking about what I've played through January, February, and March, some of the stats for that because I just absolutely love stats, and this is all going to be based on the things that I play on Steam because the only thing that I have been playing off of Steam is The Sims 4, and I have been playing quite a bit recently, but I don't really have stats for that because I don't track it in the same way. Like, I have hundreds of hours in that game. It would be impossible to track. Just know Sims 4 is something else that I play too. So I will, I guess, pop up everything that we're going to be talking about here. I have played 11 different games in the first 3 months of 2024. Some of these things are finished, some of them are not, so let's jump into it. Out of things that I have finished, 8 of them I have finished, whereas 3 I have not. I mean, that's actually pretty good. Some of these games are more like long form games, and that's part of the reason I have not finished them, because they're going to have a whole lot more hours invested in them than others. Like, I know one of the games is Spiritfarer. We will talk about this kind of stuff too, but like I've already played 14.4 hours in this game this year, and I have not finished it. But there have been other games that I have finished that maybe took me half an hour, maybe an hour total. So like, there is a big gap in those kind of games. So what I actually did to get these stats is I took a Cawpile stat sheet that I have been using for books. I don't actually use Cawpile, but I did originally start it as a Cawpile that G from Book Roast posted, and then I added some of my own stats, took some ideas from other people, and so what I did is I took my Cawpile one, the one that I use for books, and made it into like a Steam one. So I do have games started per month, so some games have taken me multiple months to complete, and that wasn't going to have the best stats for that. So I have a different number for that. We will get there. But games started per month. So I started 4 games in January, 3 in February, and 4 in March. So it feels like that's pretty average for me. About 3 to 4 games so far per month are like new things that I'm starting to do. But then we also have the games played per month. Because like I said, I started 4 games in January and then like 3 in February and 4 in March. But I played more than that because some games that I started in January took me until February or March to complete. So I actually played 4 different games in January, 4 different games in February, and 5 different games in March. So again, the numbers are going to be slightly different. Like, I wanted to double check that. So this is a graph that I had to add in myself because of the fact that I wanted to actually be able to tell the like how many games am I actually playing per month and then how many games did I start, because that was how the book thing is tracked, you know what I mean. We have star rating. So the average rating that I've given the games that I've completed, and again, remember, only 8 of these 11 have been completed by the end of March, is a 4.3, which I think is pretty good. 3 of them I did rate 5 stars. 3 of them I rated 4 stars. One was actually a 4.5, and then one was a 3. So ultimately, pretty good that way. And then I have been trying to also track representation in the games because I do that for books, and I was just curious. Not all of it translates very well because I do play some puzzle games that have no representation whatsoever. So yeah, for LGBTQ rep, one of them did not apply because of the fact that it did not have characters in it. 5 of them did not have any LGBTQ rep. 2 were the main character and 2 were just side characters. It was present in the story. For disability representation, 1 again did not apply. 4 did have some sort of disability representation present and 5 did not. For plus size rep, 1 did not apply. 5 had that present somewhere in the story. 5 did not. And then for person of color representation, again, 1 did not apply. 4 were the main character, 3 were present, and 3 were absent. So again, this is more just because I was curious, because I track it for books. I wanted to track it here and see. But those are the main stats. So now we're going to jump into like, what did I actually play? How long did it take me to complete it? What were my ratings? So starting at the beginning of January, I played Logic Town. This is one of those logic things where they tell you like, they have like names across the top and names down the side, and it's like, oh, Mr. Green does not like this kind of coffee, and then you're like, oh, well, that's an X for that. But Mr. Green likes this person who might like that coffee. Like the logic puzzles. I'll put pictures and things up here as I can. This is something that I technically started, I think, November of last year. I didn't play much things in December, and I decided I really wanted to finish this. I could only play this one on the computer. It does not have the ability to be played with a controller, but I did finish it in January. I gave it 5 stars. I absolutely loved the fact that it was puzzles that I love, like logic puzzles, but it also had like animal characters that were like, we're fixing their town for them. So each new level had quite a few different puzzles, and they were all themed to whatever you were fixing at that time. So the cafe level had like coffee and pastries and things like that. I absolutely loved it. Another game that I finished, I'm saying finished in January is Best Friend Forever. So this is a dating sim, very LGBTQ friendly, and it's a dating sim in the fact that you have to adopt a dog and also take care of this dog throughout the game, but then you can go on dates with these people and the dogs. I will say I gave it 4 stars. I think this is another one I started technically like in November and continued in January and then finished it. I went through 2 different characters that were like my main choices in the game. It's a very, very short dating sim. Like I wish there was a little bit more for that aspect, but I also personally really love the fact that you can adopt 1 out of 4 dogs. They have different personalities. I got very attached to the one dog that I chose, and I actually chose them for both times. And so I really did like this one. I just wish there was a little bit more to it. It was really good. I liked the fact that it was very LGBTQ friendly. We also had some disabilities in there because one of the guys that I decided to date was blind, and I loved that inclusion in there, and the other one was trans. And so yeah, I just was very happy with the representation and stuff, but I wished it was a little bit more of the actual dating part, so I gave it a 4 star. The next game that I played was Murder by Numbers. This is another sort of puzzle one that, again, I started at the end of last year. This one actually has like 3 main acts, and each one gets longer and longer, so it has a lot of content. I gave this one 5 stars because I absolutely loved it, but it's pie cross. It's the nonogram type puzzles where they give you the numbers on the top and on the side, and then you have to like figure out what has stuff in it and what doesn't, and I love those puzzles. But it also was a visual novel with it, a murder mystery. You had to solve crimes, and basically you had this like computer companion who is the person that finds the clues, and each clue was the nonogram / pie cross puzzle. So I absolutely loved that. Like I said, each case that you had got a little bit more involved and a little bit longer and had more puzzles to it each time you went. I absolutely loved it. 5 out of 5 stars. Like, I want more in this type of thing where it's like you do have a storyline, you do have characters. Our main character was a person of color, like she was black. I really, really love that aspect of like having the storyline but also having the puzzles, because I love puzzles. I did actually play this one with my Backbone controller because it is controller compatible. I absolutely love that fact that I was able to take it upstairs with me at bedtime with the kids and like play through stuff. I wasn't able to listen to an audiobook with it because of the fact that it actually had a story with it, but I love that I was able to take it away from the laptop setting. This one took me 2 extra months to complete because I started it, like I said, at the end of 2023, and I played it through January and February. The next one I have here is Gorogoa. I played this in January, finished it in January. I think I started it at the end of last year. You can only play this one on the computer. I gave it a 3. This was my lowest rated one, and it was mostly because I liked the idea of having these like 4 squares that you're trying to like figure out the puzzle, but some of it was so just like I had no idea where to go next because there's no like explanation. There's no words in this puzzle thing at all. And so there was, especially near the end, a time where I just had to go through, and in order to finish this and say I was done with everything, I had to use a walkthrough. So I gave it a 3 because I liked the concept of it, but it was just not necessarily my type of game. So yeah. Moving into February, I have Rusty Lake Hotel. I have never played any of the Rusty Lake things. I actually have been following Miro de Morte, who does like game streams on Twitch, and I also watch them on YouTube for a while. This is like one of my friends. And this is one of the things that I actually saw her do the most recent like demo of a Rusty Lake game, and I got very curious because I had never heard of them before. There's a ton of lore that apparently I was missing, and so I had picked Rusty Lake first because it was like on sale, and so technically I did not play it in order, but I really had fun with this one. I gave it a 4. This is one of those games that I was able to finish in like half hour, maybe an hour total. And it's really weird, like really weird, really out there. I didn't have that much trouble trying to do it because it is one of those almost like puzzle games, like escape room type of things where you have to figure out where everything goes and do that. But it was really fun. So yeah. The next one that I finished in February was Oxenfree 2. This is another one that I started at the end of last year. And I had actually played most of it at the end of last year, and I think it was we were just getting closer to the holidays and I stopped playing games as much, so I knew I needed to finish it. It didn't take me too much longer to finish it in February, but I really do love this one. I did give it a 4.5 because I didn't love it as much as the first Oxenfree. That I did like that it gave us a little bit more of like an ending. I did really like the characters. I think because I had such high expectations from the first Oxenfree, I was wanting a little bit more from it because like the first Oxenfree has a very interesting like New Game Plus sort of thing. Like I absolutely love the way that they did that, and I did like the main characters in this new one, like Oxenfree 2. I was just, I don't know, I think I was just hoping for a little bit more connectivity or a little bit more where they had that extra new game thing, which they don't. This one is a little bit less like new and weird. It is still that a little bit, but it was trying to like give us more of a conclusion as a sequel to the first game, and I gave it a 4.5. It was so close to being like a perfect 5-star game for me. I just wanted a little bit more. But in general, if you have not played the Oxenfree games, this is something that I was able to again play on the backbone, play on my controller. The first Oxenfree I actually played as a phone app, so they do work very well handheld. I really love it. I love the storyline. The first one is my favorite out of the two. But yeah, so I definitely played that. The next game I have here, I started in February, have not finished it, like we've talked about a little bit before. I played Spiritfarer. This is the farewell edition. It is huge. It's a huge game. I started it in February. I also played quite a bit in March, and then I stopped playing it because I knew I was getting way too invested. I was so deep that I was like barely reading any books, but also I had other things that I wanted to do. We were coming up upon like the Trans-Rise Readathon, all that kind of stuff, so I knew I had to put it down. I have not picked it back up again yet because I know, again, as soon as I do, I'm gonna be so into it because you are the Spiritfarer. You're taking these characters and like helping them fulfill their last like request sort of thing before they want to move on. It is very emotional in places. And it also has like sort of like farming elements. You have some farm stuff, you have some fishing stuff. I really just absolutely love the vibes of it. I've played over 14 hours in those 2 months. Just to tell you something, I absolutely love it. I will be finishing it this year sometime. I just don't know exactly when because of the fact that I don't even think I'm halfway through. I don't think I'm even halfway through, but I absolutely love it. Then we also have something that I started in March. Okay, so we're getting into the things that I started in March. We have When the Past Was Around. I did not finish it yet because I started this one on the controller and I didn't think it was as good controller wise as on the computer, so I need to finish it on the computer and I just have not done that yet. I think I have like the last 1 to maybe 2 chapters left. Like I'm very close. I just need to do it. This is another story-based one that doesn't have any dialogue. It's all very calm and has some music and things like that, but it is also dealing with more like grief sort of things. I'm very curious to see where the ending of this is going to go. I do really like it. It has not taken me too long to do. I just need to like sit down and actually finish it. We also have Tell Me Why, which I started and finished in March. I did play this one on my backbone again. This was created by Don't Nod, the same people that do Life is Strange, and I actually talked about this in my Trans Rights Readathon vlog because I finished the last chapter during that readathon because our main character in this, we actually technically have two. We have a set of twins. One of them is trans, and being trans and his experience in this town and trying to figure out his past is a very big part of the story. I absolutely love this one. I think out of all the ones that I'm talking about today, this is going to be the one that I'm saying is my favorite, because even though I have other 5 stars, this is the one that had the most story, and I absolutely loved that mix between like the actual story, things that you're watching, but then also discovering the aspects and having choices that matter, because you could either have your twins become like best friends or have them drift apart a little bit. You make those decisions, and I absolutely loved that. And so yeah, I absolutely love this one. Favorite of the quarter. Then we also have Voxelgram, which is another puzzle game. This is the one that has no characters in it whatsoever. It is purely puzzles. You can play this on the backbone, like on a controller as well. I find it much easier to do based on the controls on the computer. So I have played it a little bit of both, but I've been doing it more on the computer. This is sort of like a 3D Picross nonogram sort of puzzle. The way that they have the numbers show up is definitely different than those, and I think it's just because it is the 3D element. I have really been loving figuring out this new puzzle system, and I've gotten quite good at it, but some of the puzzles are quite involved. I love that aspect though, because you end up with a 3D model of stuff at the end of the puzzle. It also has a lot of puzzles in the game, so I don't think I'm going to be finishing this one anytime soon, because I started in March. I've been playing it through April, and I have not gotten anywhere close to finished, but I do really love this one as well. And then the last one I have for March is Cube Escape Seasons. So I have purchased some games. Should we be talking about purchasing games too? Maybe. Let me know if that's something that you guys want to learn about. But there was a sale for the spring sale, and all of the Rusty Lake stuff was in a bundle, and it was on sale. So I bought everything else that I didn't have after Rusty Lake Hotel, and so I decided to start playing them in the like publication order, or like I looked online of like what is the best order to play these, and so a lot of the Cube Escape stuff is actually first. So I did play Cube Escape Seasons. Again, it was a very quick one to do, half hour at the most, and I gave it 4 stars because I felt the same way about this one that I did about Rusty Lake Hotel. Like, it was very good. There was a pretty interesting sort of like what is going on sort of nature, but I think with all of these games, and we'll have to see as I play more, there is always something missing. Like, there's something that is left open-ended at the end of every single one that I've played so far. Like, I just want more, but they're very fun. Some of them get a little bit, like the puzzle gets a little bit hard to figure out, but like they're not too hard where I've had to like look up everything, which I do really appreciate. And so technically that's the last one that I played in these 3 months. So I feel like overall a pretty good mix. I do definitely gravitate toward puzzle and story-based games the most. And like I said, I do also have a chart of games that I have purchased. So let me know if you want a haul of games as well. That wasn't necessarily something I was thinking of doing right now, but I definitely can. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up to let me know. Subscribe to this channel if you'd like to see more videos. I do have videos coming out Tuesdays, Thursdays, and sometimes Saturdays, so I will see you then. Bye.